So the piece that's in Sensing Change is called Village Green, and the piece was originally commissioned related to an exhibition in Massachusetts Museum of Contemporary Art. But it's actually part of a larger series. It started off as this idea of a personal biosphere. So I was making a lot of work that was kind of coming out of my personal experience, but related to larger environmental issues about how we feel about living in an urban space, sort of the physical and emotional connections we have to the landscape, the environment, and the sort of conflict and tension and paradox that's inherent in that. So I was envisioning sort of what happens when people try to create their own little world. I'd made this little bubble that you could wear on your head as a sort of performance that was called the Portable Personal Biosphere. It had moss growing in it, and people could wear it around, and it would, you'd give you this little green horizon so that you didn't have to focus on all the concrete, and it would give you this really intense smell of like moss and earth in front of your face. So it was obviously satirical, but it was also the actual experience of being inside this thing was actually, I thought, like very kind of transformative for me to like wear this thing and walk around, and then other people would wear it and walk around. And the way that these works often evolve is that they're like iterations, and then sort of the experience of a piece leads into what should sort of what becomes the next version of it. So I started off with this idea of the piece, and it was about this vision of a person kind of with this bubble around them, and then I realized that really the experience of the piece is actually your viewpoint when you're inside it. So it's about this transformation from seeing the landscape as something that's outside of you, seeing it as something that's in the distance, or that you see through a window or through a frame, and then sort of the flip side of that is bringing yourself into physical intimacy with the space that you're in. And so when you actually place your head inside of this space, it is a sensory immersion. There's this really intense smell. The air is like a little bit more humid in there usually, and the sounds are deadened. And I did want it to be sort of like a stand-in for the experience of like being a kid and going out and like laying down in the floor of the forest, and the view that you have when you're that small. Which obviously anyone can have that, but we don't often find a chance to do that.